Okay. So we'll sit, finding our sitting bones, getting bum out the way. Try and sit as tall as you can, but it might feel a little bit uncomfortable to start with. Hands on the front of your shins, and just be comfortable for the minute. And especially for Jeanette, we'll just do a few shoulder rolls and neck release from here. So actually, if it's not comfy with your arms on your shins, just have them wherever is comfy to start with. And for the neck, we're just going to breathe in and rotate as far as we can round to one side, looking one way. Breathe out to center. And then breathe in to rotate the other way. And back to center. And keep going. If you've got any crunchy bits, just be very mindful. Think about holding an imaginary orange under your chin to get some length through the back of your neck. Gradually taking the neck round further each time if you can. And then when you've balanced yourselves up, doing one each side this time, just bring your head center forward. And then we're going to nod the chin downwards. And then bring it up to normal height. And then very slowly, very gently take your eye line up to the ceiling to nod the neck backwards. And then center. And again, looking down, think, and if you want to, you can press your chin into your neck as you look down to the center. Sorry, I lost you all again in my connection. I've changed my Wi-Fi connection again. One more. And then back to looking left and right, but this time, as you turn your head one way, then nod the chin down to that shoulder, nice and slowly, and then bring it back up and recenter. And the same the other way, nodding down. Each time just trying to increase that movement. Yeah, shuffle and make yourself comfy all the time. Final time each way. Lovely. Okay, so if it's getting really uncomfy sitting down, you can grab a cushion, make sure there's enough behind you just to get a little bit of height to release the hips if it's feeling a little bit tight. But back to sitting nice and tall, and we'll start to do some flexion and extension. So again, nodding the chin, think about curving your upper back forward and your chest towards your knees, pressing into your shins a little bit, and think engaging tummy button spine to sit nice and tall. And we'll just work this way first off. So I like to breathe out to curve forward. At the moment, I'm not shifting my pelvis, or I shouldn't be. I'm trying to get movement through the thoracic spine from the middle section all the way up through the cervical spine. So breathing out to curve forward and breathing in to sit nice and tall. That's it, good. Keeping that chin nodded so your head is just balanced at the top of your spine. And 2 more of these. Good, final one. Really breathe out, press into your shins, get some stretch around the back of the shoulders, back of the spine. And then sitting nice and tall, we'll add on to get some extension. So this is where we think lifting the heart to try and get that upper back extending upwards. So again, curling forward to start with, breathing out, breathing in to sit tall, and then think lifting the heart and aiming the back between your shoulder blades behind you. And it's not very comfortable for me anyway, but it's brilliant. And again, keep doing that. So we're curling forward and then imagining we've got that same curl backwards as if we're aiming to do a little back bend, but just from beneath or between the top shoulder blades, lifting the heart. So less neck and head. That's it, Elaine. Good challenge. I think heart and top of the shoulders. And keep your head nice and balanced on the top of your spine. Good, breathing, breathing. It feels hard, not much movement, but it pays dividends and you should feel lovely afterwards. We can build on that with some arms. So you can take your arms forward as you curl forward towards your knees. Then they come to the ceiling and then a little bit behind you. And if you want to circle forward, ready to breathe out. So you're doing a whole swooping motion, even lifting the heart, extending the back, opening the arms. Obviously with any shoulder issues, especially yourself, Jackie, if there's any pain in that shoulder, keep the circle smaller. And I don't mind if you lean back slightly as long as you're still thinking lifting the heart, opening the front of the chest as we get that extension. That's it. Good, Jeanette. Just do a couple more. That's it, Jackie, good. If it hurts. All right, well, don't do it so much then. One more. Could do it sitting on the sofa maybe. Okay. Well, we're doing one more seated. And you should be able to do this, Jackie, but see how it feels. If not, I'll give you an alternative. So we'll do our seated rollbacks. Hands loosely on the backs of your thighs, legs bent up, sitting nice and tall. This is where we hinge, drawing in through the tummy button. Then those of us that can, send our tailbone away from us, keeping hold of the thighs if you need to for control, to take yourself down to the mat. And again, you can take your arms up overhead, circle around, then come onto your sides to come back up to sitting. So our focus is very much knitting the front of our bodies together, using our abs to draw ourselves back down to the mat all the time, thinking you're pulling into your body. You're holding your legs for some support and guidance if you need to. Lying down, circling round, and then coming onto your side to sit up or rolling up, whichever you can. And if you're rolling up, lovely, Jeanette. Use that abdominal connection. Well, you've got everything going against you, Jackie. I know it's frustrating, but you have to work with what you've got, don't you? And just accept some things are not going to be physically possible with the state of your spine. So focus on the bits you can do. Hold onto your legs to give you that support. That's it. Good. Good. Lovely. That's it, Lane. Try and minimize the collapse at the end because the rest of it was looking so controlled. So just allow your hands to slide down your legs to give you that extra support. Think tummy button drawing into the body, shoulders nice and wide. That's it. Good, good, good. That's it. Good, Jeanette. Sit tall at the top. Thinking that heart lifting, we'll do 2 more. And all of this work deep in the abdominals is knitting it all together, getting strength. Brilliant. Final time. Well done, Jackie. Good. And on this last one, you can stay lying down. No pads or cushions beneath your head, so we'll do our little hip rolls, utilizing everything we've done. So thinking feet hip width apart, just find that position if you want to. Again, big toe, little toe and heel, and think those feet drawing down into the mat and towards your body. And then tummy button to spine as you breathe out to curl the pelvis towards you, just slightly hovering the bottom off the mat, shoulders nice and wide and relaxed, and then breathing in, placing it back down so you come back to the neutral position. If you find your neck and your chin is up to the ceiling, just elongate your neck, give it a little stretch away, gradually working up the body a little bit higher each time, trying to minimize any rocking about, using the control of those abdominals we've just worked. So breathing out, curling the pubic bone towards you, peeling the spine off piece by piece, little by little. Little breath to hold and then placing yourself back down. That's it. And if you think a little bit of squeeze in the inner thighs to keep the knees stable. And as always, have a little shift of your feet if you need to, finding a different position if it's not comfy or if you're working yourself up your mat, which of course you're not, but just in case. And bring the arms into it at this point. So as you breathe out, bring them up to the ceiling. As you breathe in, take them overhead if it's comfy. Breathing out, leaving them there, softening through the chest, placing the upper back, middle back, lower back down onto the mat. And then bring them up to the ceiling and down by your sides. Breathing out, coming up, curling the pubic bone at all times. So squeezing the bum, keeping the shoulders wide. As you breathe in, breathe out, soften through the chest. Elongating the spine, working through it as much as possible, vertebra by vertebra, and then bringing the arms up and over, back down by your sides, keeping the neck nice and long. 2 more. That's it. Really think curling the pubic bone towards you, softening the shoulders. So that's it. Soften through the back, breathing out, curling off. Breathing in to hold. And then breathing out, soften, sink through the body, placing the spine down. Ending up, bringing your arms down by your sides, then bring them back up to the ceiling, palms facing away from you, just allow them to be really heavy in the shoulder joints, and we'll do our arm and leg slides. So breathing in, extend one leg away as straight as you can and one arm behind you without lifting and arching the back. Breathing out, come back to center. And you can either slide the leg along the floor or hover it ever so slightly, as long as you're using your abdominal control. So you're not arching your back and popping your ribs. Everything's nice and aligned. So breathing in to extend, breathing out to come back to the center line. All the time thinking that tummy button is being sucked into your body a little way to get the abs and pelvic floor in control of your movement, and allowing the rest of your joints and limbs to be as free as they possibly can, lubricated through movement. And just like we do on the dog, that changeover, we're aiming for nice control, no wobble. Lovely. Good. And you're all looking very stable there. So let's do an arm and leg lift while we're there. So as you extend one arm and leg away, that extended arm and leg come back to the ceiling, keeping the bum down, keeping the ribs down, extend back to the floor, and then change sides. So lengthen away, lift, lengthen away, and return. That's it. Trying to get the long leg as straight as possible, but if you need to bend the knee, then please do. That's it. Slow down a little bit, Elaine. Apart from that, lovely. Yes. And keeping those abs drawn in to keep the back nice and safe. And do one more on each side. And then once you're done, you can just hug your knees in, have a little break, rock from side to side, give your lower back a little bit of a massage if you need to. And then we're going to take those knees, keeping the abs drawn in through the tummy button, shoulders wide, slightly further away from us, toes dropped lower, and we'll do our toe tap. So legs stay together. We breathe in, tap one toe to the ground, breathing out, drawing into the body to come back. And again, trying to minimize any rocking and rolling, shifting in the back. The further you take your foot away from the body, keeping a bent knee, the more challenge you've got on those lower and deep abdominal muscles. So play around with it. If you need to today, keep it really close to the body, or just take it away. And if you've got any popping in the hip as that leg and toe taps to the ground, think more sucking in of the tummy button to spine, or maybe just turn your leg out in external rotation. Sometimes that helps me. I've got a very poppy hip. This one pointing the toes. That's it. Good. And I should have said, if you've got cushions or head blocks, it's perfectly safe to use them now for comfort. So keep breathing, breathing in to tap, breathing out to draw that leg back, because that's a heavy thing that's being lifted and pulling back into the body. All looking really, really nice. 2 more on each side. Good. And then if you need to, hug your knees in, because it is quite hard, even though it's a very simple movement. Then we're going to turn out into our diamond shape. So Heels together, flexed feet, knees wide apart. I'm going to do the same thing, but in external rotation. So tapping down one side, keeping the abs down, and then tapping down the other. So I should say your feet should be fairly relaxed. My toes tend to get involved. So I'm consciously trying to let them relax, consciously trying to let my shoulders widen and loosen onto the mat. All the work is coming through that deep abdominal pelvic connection. So drawing up through the pelvic floor. Trying to find an image that works for you, either a lift, tightening some tight jeans, zipping up. That's it. So you're still going down to the mat forwards, but your foot is flexed and your knees are turning out. Lovely. Just a couple more. Good. And then hug your knees in. Have a little rock if you need to from side to side. And talking of side to side, we're going to stay in this tabletop position. So if your feet are down, you can have your feet down, but try having them up. And we will do our hip rolls. So a few standard ones, keeping the knees together, keep the back of your body on the mat as you breathe into one side. Breathing out, draw tummy button to spine to bring the knees back to center. And then over the other side. So I'm concentrating, keeping my shoulders on the mat, the scapula nice and earthed, and it's just that lower half rotating. And again, Jack, if it's too much on your back today, keep your feet on the floor and one foot can peel off. Just go as far over as you're comfortable in doing. And actually, Jackie, lower your feet so they're lower than your knees. Bit lower. That's it. You can keep your knees where they were, but just have the feet lower so they're not. That's it. That's it. So you're keeping those knees glued together as they go over to one side. Lovely, Jeanette. If you want to challenge yourself, Jeanette, a little bit more, just take those knees further away from the body, drawing into the tummy button. Yes. Good. And then let's have a play around. You can stop this if it's not comfy. Again, turning your knees out, so you're in a diamond shape. We'll do exactly the same thing, breathing in to go to one side, and then extend the legs so the inner thighs come together, bend and return. Over to the other side, extend. So we're stretching everything as well. If it doesn't work for you, just stay at a level that does, or have the legs in parallel, and you can extend one leg instead of both all the time, drawing into the body with the tummy button to make sure the back's not moving. You're all looking pretty darn good. Good. Nice and controlled. Elaine, as always, I'd just slow it down a tad, make it a little bit more challenging that way. You've got all the movement. Keeping the heels together, toes turned out. Good. One more in each direction. Lovely. Then you can hug your knees in. Have a little rest. Good. Lovely. And then your choice again this morning. I'm being so kind, aren't I? Either feet down, or you can have them up, hands behind your head, and we'll do our curl ups. So remember, breathing out, tummy button to spine, to suck the ribs towards the pelvis. Eye line goes to the knees. And then breathing into return and pressing your head into your hands so you're not pulling on your neck. All the work is coming from the abs, so you might not come very high. It's that sliding forward motion, working on our six-pack, but deep inside our bodies. Keeping the elbows wide. Remember, pressing your head back into your hands, tummy button drawing in, so there's no strain on your neck. Imaginary orange under that chin. Breathing out to curl up. Make space for the muscles to move, and breathing in to find yourself back on the mat. That's it, Elaine. Keep it nice and small. Keep the focus down through the tummy button into the body. We're going to do two more, and on the last one, we're going to stay up. So you can have your feet on the floor if you want to, or keep them in tabletop. So this last one, curling up, extend your arms, and we'll do 100. So breathe in, 2, 3, beating from the armpits, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5. Keeping the body as stable as you can. That's it, Jeanette. Eye line forward, beating the arms from the armpits, controlling everything through the abdominals, keeping the chins nodded. That's it. If you need to put your feet down at any point, if you want to extend the legs away, the last few, feel free. That's it, Jackie, nearly there. 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, in, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, last set, 2, 3, 4, 5, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, and relax, hug your feet in, brilliant, well done. Oh, we love Mr. Pilates. Okay, final one, staying on our backs for now, do bridging. So starting to think narrowing at the hips, tummy button to spine, squeezing the bum to lift in one line. Think that length, knees over toes. Oh, the cramp today, and back down. So with cramp, obviously feet closer to the body or further away sometimes helps. So just some standard ones to get the body moving in this way. Breathing out, lift and squeeze. And then breathing in, coming down in that one straight line. So no curling of the pubic bone and pelvis on this one. That's it. But again, you're trying to think inner thigh connection. Keep the knees from rolling in or out. That's it. So a nice little breath at the top. Good. And a couple more of these standard ones. Thinking those knees reaching over toes. And then the next set, let's lift a foot off. So we're going to breathe out, squeeze and lift, narrowing in, and then just bring one leg up to tabletop, place it down. Think about that change over, squeezing the bum and standing leg to keep stable. You want your pelvis to be in a straight line, and then chop back down again. Ready to breathe out and narrow into the body and lift, lengthen away, then lifting one leg, placing it down, lifting the other, and placing it down, coming back down. And when we do that lift, we're trying not to drop into the pelvis on the other side. That's it, good Elaine, good Jackie, lovely Jeanette. So we're holding our body weight up. That's it, fantastic for strengthening. Good. One more of these. And then again, feet together, toes turned out. We'll do the bridge in our diamond shape, shoulders wide, narrow into the body. So just getting the external rotating and the hips to lift and lower. Obviously, we won't do any leg lifting for this, but just finding that bridge in a different position. Breathing out still, tummy button to spine, but think narrowing into your body. So both sides of the body squeezing into the spine. So you can turn your feet out, so it's more of the soles of your feet closer together. Good. And two more, always two more. Final one. And then we'll continue to work the backs of our bodies, but we will do that facing down. So roll yourselves over onto your fronts. We will work on our arrow. So if you've got a cushion or anything you want to put under your forehead for comfort, please feel free. Arms by your side. Focus on getting your legs in a good position. So you might want to shuffle the front of your thighs to make sure that they're parallel and onto the mat. And allow the shoulders to roll forward. Want to think tailbone reaching away from you, so your pubic bone is a little bit more earthed into the mat and it stays there for this. And then as we breathe in, we lift the shoulders, breathe out, sliding down our back to hover our arms, reaching the fingers to the toes. Breathing in, rotate the shoulders to turn the thumbs to the ceiling, and then breathing out, place yourself back down on the mat. And again, if you find you've got cramp in your foot, like I have, just wiggle your foot and toes as you're doing this. So breathing in, lift the shoulders, breathing out, slide and hover. Thumbs to the ceiling on the in-breath. And then breathing out, place yourself down. So if you think back to our warm-up, this is our back extension. The upper shoulders are reaching away from you. The heart is lifting but reaching away from you. Placing yourself down, so use your breath. That's lovely, Jeanette. Keep your chin nodded. So you might want to move your cushion slightly further away from you so it's not suffocating you. That's it, lovely. So let's make these distinct movements. As you breathe in, lift the shoulders away from the mat. Breathe out, slide them down your back to hover the arms, lifting your heart. Breathing in, rotate the arms, thumbs to the ceiling, Jackie nodding the chin, crown of the head reaching away, that's it. And then breathing out, coming back down to the mat. Good. So all the time, keeping the pelvis grounded. There shouldn't be any discomfort in the lower back. If you feel any pinching, keep the lift a little bit lower. Tiny hover. That's it, Elaine. Good. One more basic one. We'll add on our side bend. So breathing in to lift the shoulders, breathing out to extend the arms, and then just slide down one side of your body. Back to center. Slide down the other side of your body. Back to center. And then place yourself back down. Ready to go again. So breathing in, lift the shoulders, breathing out, slide down, hover and lift. If you want to, you can do Superman. So bring one arm in front of you and slide. I'm always picturing Christopher Reeve. Oh, happy days. Sliding down, back, and place yourself down. Remember, in that hover, everyone keep their chins nodded. It's the crown of the head and the heart reaching away. No tension on the neck. One more to each side. And then when you finish your last side, stay up there. Turn your palms to the ceiling, so your arms are still behind you, and we'll do our disruptive motion. So backward swimming, trying to keep the body as stable as possible, which isn't easy, and just beating the arms like we've done for the 100, but as fast as you can. Tummy button, spine, pelvis into the mat for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then relax and sit back into a child pose just to release the back. We are going to stay on our fronts for a couple more, working our hamstrings. Good. But before we do that, we'll do a bit of glute squeezing. So you can turn your feet out, shoulders dripping down your back. Again, pressing your pelvis into the mat ever so slightly. And then think narrowing at those hips. So you're squeezing your bottom, holding it for a count of 10 for 100% effort. Trying to just isolate those muscles from the rest of your leg and then relaxing. And if you're not comfy in the turnout position, you can have your legs parallel. Sometimes people find it easier with the legs turned out to just get the glute muscles working. All very individual. So you're squeezing, narrowing. Imagine you're holding onto a £50 note or a winning lottery ticket between your bum, holding at 100% effort for a count of 10, and then relaxing. So you shouldn't feel any movement in the rest of your body or back. Our aim is just to get those glute minimus, medius, and maximus working on their own. So you don't need to tense the shoulders. Don't need to shift the back. Just squeeze and hold and relax. One more set. So then bring your legs closer together again. Not exactly together, but just about hip width apart, and we'll work on our hamstring curls. So like last week, but the same setup, 50% squeeze of the bum, and then you just bend the knee, bring the heel towards and in line with the middle of the bottom. Then we're going to hover the knee, extend the leg away and place it down. Same side, so bending the knee, hovering the knee, extending the leg so it's off the floor, then placing the leg down. So that's 50% squeeze of the bum first, the intention of the heel towards the midline of the bum, extending it away and then placing the leg down. And certainly after a few, you should feel the hamstrings starting to work. And again, focus on relaxing the shoulders. So the rest of your body's doing jack diddly squat. All that work is coming from the glute and hamstring area. That's it. Good, Elaine. That's it. 2 more on this side. Bend it a little more, Jeanette. And then lift. Yeah, lift from there. That's it. Extend and down. Final time. So bend it in. That's it. Just to there. Then hover. Then extend away. And place it down. Good. Change sides. And take a moment as you're doing this to think about whether it feels different, easier, harder, if you have more or less control. That's it. And really imagine the middle of the heel and the middle of the bum in line. Then lift, then extend. Good, Jackie. That's it, Elaine. Shoulders nice and relaxed. I think you've got 3 more. Final one. And let's pulse it from here. So this is now, turn your toes out, heels or soles of the feet together. We're going to lift the knees off and squeeze the feet together to pulse and squeeze the bum. Just for a few, if you can. I'll count to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Brilliant, relax. Sit back into a shell stretch. Take your knees really nice and wide. Stretch the arms out in front of you. And we are going to go on our sides, but before we do that, I thought it was a little treat. We can do those press-ups again. So come onto your hands and knees. Have a look between your knees to make sure your feet are in line with your knees. Want 4 fingers facing forward, hands nicely spread. Then turn the inner crease of your elbows towards the front. And from there, just sink slightly into your shoulders so you're nice and wide, tummy button drawing in, and bend the elbows close to your body as if you're praying, aiming your forehead towards the mat in front of you. So a nice bingo wings. Work strength through the shoulders. Do as many as you can. So think going forward, Elaine. So you keep your bum and hips stable and legs stable. That's it. Good, good, good. Good. Keep the chin nodded, Jackie. That's it. Do 2 more if you can. No worries if you can't. See, I have the luxury of stopping and watching you, so I know it's hard. And then come down onto your side. Nice and long. Lengthening out the underneath arm. Legs stretching away and slightly in front of you to make sure they don't pull in your back as we lift, because we do our double leg lift. So think about the underneath waist drawing away from the mat. You could get a hand under there if possible. And as you breathe out, tummy button spine, squeeze the legs together, lift and hover. If you want a hand in front for balance, do. And placing down as you breathe in. And remember, if you're lifting your head, look towards the mat so you're not getting any neck tension. So breathing out to lift, breathing in to lower. And the legs should stay in line. They don't come behind you because that will just crunch the lower back. Legs stay glued together, shoulders nice and relaxed. That's it, nice and slow and controlled. Good. And 2 more. Final one. Then we lift the top leg to hip height, keep it there, and then squeezing the underneath leg up and placing it down. So feet don't do anything, just thinking the inner thigh of the underneath leg, lifting and lowering. That's it. So allow the feet to be really heavy. Elaine, don't allow that right foot to point upwards. That's better. Then we get to work the inner thighs rather than the ankle. Yes. 2 more. Final one, keep that top leg reaching away, give it a little bit of a pull at the hip, and we'll do a hot potato, so it taps down in front, up, down. So all the time the little toe is facing the ceiling, so we're not turning out. Again, we're working in parallel with the foot in the same position, not doing anything, taking it as high as you can at the top. Oh, look at that. Everyone's showing off. I can't take my leg very high at all. Lovely. So 2 taps at the front, 2 taps behind. So you're going up and over your bottom leg. That's it, without rocking the body. So that's where the hard bit comes in. Now we've got it. Yes. Couple more. Good. And then let's move into our shell position, which might feel much more comfortable. Bending the knees up, heels in line with the bum. Again, it's really nice to have that hand behind just to double check you're not rocking the body as you open the knee, keeping the feet together, breathing into close. All the time, keeping the shoulders relaxed, keeping control of that abdominal area. Breathing out to open, breathing into close. 2 more. Final time. And then come onto your forearms, or do the shell in the same position, but on your knees. So lifting up through the side of your body as if we were going to do a little side plank, and then holding upwards. So lifting your bum a little way, sink shoulder down underneath the armpit, and from here, 5 and 4 and 3 and 2. Final 1. Good. And sitting down. How are we doing for time? Okay, 1 more on our front before we do the other side to balance ourselves up. Again, pad on the forehead if you want. We will do swimming, so I don't mind, depending how your arms and shoulders are feeling after all that. Slight separation of your legs, thinking squeezing the bum, pressing the pelvis into the mat, stretch your legs away, hover them off the mat. Same thing, breath into prepare, draw the shoulders down your back, hover the arms, so you're in a nice skydiving position, and then tapping down and bringing the arms and legs back up. And you can do it as fast or slow as you can keep your body stable. And think stretching arms and legs away. And if that held position is too much, go down to the mat. Think stretching and lifting and lowering the limbs. Keeping the chins nodded. That's it. Keeping those legs straight, straight, straight. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. Well done. Roll over onto your other side or turn yourselves around. So you're going to work the other side. I'm going to have to lengthen both legs away. So you're coming into that nice straight line. And from here, shoulders down, underneath waist, drawing in tummy, button, spine. Lift and hover. Breathing in to place yourself down. Sit, lift and hover. And remember, look at the floor if you're lifting your head as well. And it's like the arrow, it's a long, low hover rather than a real banana shape. So thinking, lengthening away. And make sure that your legs aren't going behind you. Don't look like they are for anyone here. But as we found, the camera angle does lie sometimes. So be very conscious of that lower back. If there's any pinching, just bring your feet slightly further forward. That's it. So Elaine, make sure you're just nodding your chin to look at the floor as you lift the head. That's better, yep. That'll be safer. Good. 2 more. Final one. And then staying down, I won't because I'll ruin my earpiece. Keeping the top leg lifted, but squeezing the underneath leg up and down. So the feet are not doing anything. It's all happening. The inner thigh squeezing up and down. And again, trying to keep the body stable. That's it, good. Beautiful cat. Lovely, 2 more. And then our hot potato. So again, keeping that top leg up. 2 taps in front with the leg, 2 taps behind. Again, hand in front for balance. Keeping the foot in the same place. You start to feel the burn in the hip. Yes, good. Lovely. Two more. And then bend the knees up for a bit of light relief for our shell. We'll just do 5 in the standard position. So heels in line with the bum. Still thinking underneath waist, shoulders down, and breathing out to lift the knee. If you need that hand behind you, just stop any rocking and rolling. Do use it. So breathing out to open, in to close. 2 more. Shoulders relaxed. Final time. Then coming onto our forearm, keeping the knees together, lifting up as if you've got a hoist underneath that side of your body. You're keeping nice and tall and strong. And again, opening for 5 and 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. And then sitting down, back onto our hands and knees. Have to do the dog and the cat because they are so good for us. So find a lovely quadruped position. Think about the shoulders away from the ears. I like to think 4 fingers facing forward, double checking where my feet are. Creases of the elbows facing each other this time. And from here, breathing out, extending one leg away and one arm away, either on the floor or in the air, then bringing them back to the starting position. And you're minimizing that rocking as you change position and change sides and legs. And try not to walk up and down the mat either. So your gaze is just slightly in front of your fingers, so you've got a nice long neck. Thinking, drawing the abdominals deep into the body. That's it, lovely and stable. Good. Lovely. We don't need to lift the legs too high, otherwise there's a chance you might arch the back a little bit. So I think long and hovering. 2 more on each side. Keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Think there's oranges under the armpits. And then we'll work towards our planking a little bit with some knee hovers. So if you need to sit back and give the wrists a little shake in between just to release, please do. Then what we're going to try and do is keep the front of our feet on the mat. Think sucking up our tummy buttons into the body as much as possible to hover the knees without arching the back, and then placing them down. If that really doesn't work, you can tuck your toes under, but again, think sucking the stomach area into the body to hover the knees. So the whole aim is to keep the back flat as possible and just hover and hold for a few seconds. With that flat back. Good, I will leave you to have a little play with that for a couple of seconds. Try not to move the back. One more. And then as we're here, let's stretch out the back with some cat stretches. So starting in that flat back position, thinking pelvic curl like we started class pretty much, tucking the tailbone under, curling the pubic bone towards your chest, extending up into that lovely cat stretch. And double check where your feet are as your head hangs between your arms. Breath in here, breathing out, extending tailbone first. And working through the spine. Imagine someone's walking their fingers up and down your body until the head comes up. And do a couple more. That's it. So you're unpeeling from the tailbone. Head will come up last. And do one final one. And then gradually sit back, tuck your toes under, and we'll roll up to standing, keeping the head low, gradually coming up. And let's do some side bending to finish. So have a look, feet flat on the floor, hip width apart. And we're just going to slide down one side, take the arm up overhead. Reach a little bit lower if you can towards the knee. Tummy button to spine to stand nice and tall. And then over to the other side. Reaching down, bring the arm up and over. Oh, that feels so nice. And one more to each side. Sliding down, finding that stretch in the outside of the body. Really use the tummy button into the body abdominal connection to help keep everything stable and supported. And then we'll finish with some swing throughs and balance. So what I mean by that, we're just going to bend the knees, swing the arms. And then one more, and this time stand. Oh, she says, keeping the ankles nice and stable. So that tummy button spine, think tall through the standing leg, and swing through for 3. And on the third one, 2. Stand on the other side, 1. Get ready, peel off and hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Brilliant. Well done, everybody. I will turn the recording off.